Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to go over how you can clone and program new keys to your BMW so you don't have to go to the dealership and get ripped off. So right here, I have two keys. I have my original and I have a key that is yet to be cloned or programmed. It's a blank key. And today I'm going to show you guys how you can clone or program keys at your house. We will be working with a CAS module. Now this video applies to cars that have FEM/BDC modules. If you do not know what your car has, I will have a screenshot up above showing what cars have CAS modules and which cars have FM/BDC modules. Basically anywhere from like the E60, E90, E70, F10, and some other cars have CAS modules where some of the 3 series, I believe the 4 series, all have FEM or BDC. They're essentially newer modules that have the CAS module built in. And if you guys do not know what a CAS module is, it stands for Car Access System. So today we're going to show you how you can program new keys so you don't have to go to the dealership. Super easy. You are going to have to remove your CAS module or your FEM/BDC module to do this, and it's essentially going to be a bench setup. While this tool, which I will mention in a second, does support OBD mode, using what's called ICP or bench mode is much safer. Now, a couple terms that we should get ourselves familiar with: P-flash and D-flash. D-flash is also known as EEPROM. EEPROM or D-flash is essentially your data that's on the module, basically storing all of your key information, while P-flash is your program file or firmware on the actual module. This goes through some depth in the application, so you should know the difference depending on what you're doing. This application, which is called ACDP, also allows you to clone modules, which will be in store for another video. I am sorry, my E46 viewers, this video does not apply to you. This video does not apply to any cars with an EWS system, but rest assured, I will have a video coming out showing you how you can make cars with EWS system, which is your E46, E39. I have the tool in the mail, it's on its way here, so as soon as I get that, I will come out with a video on how to do this. And here is our new F-series key. Again, if you're doing an E-series, you would use an E-series key. You can even do G-series keys. You can do a display key. Really, really cool. One thing to know, if you guys are in the United States and you're trying to make keys, one very important thing, you need to get the right frequency key, 315 megahertz. Depending on your region, you may have a different key, so just make sure you get the correct key for your car. And if you don't know, this tool will actually be able to tell you your frequency of the key, which is super cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how we set it up, and then I'll switch to a screen recording on my phone. Yes, it uses an iOS and Android app to communicate. Okay, so we have everything in front that we are going to need. We have the keys, we have a couple different modules. So basically we have the main module right here. This is going to plug into this adapter right here that's called OBP plus ICP. This comes included in the main module with this. We're gonna plug these together. Now, I did not change any of these dip switches. I left them the same. We're gonna set that aside. Now, depending on what module you are trying to make keys for, in this case, we're doing a CAS 4 Plus, which is out of my BMW F10, depending on what CAS you're trying to do. So for the older CASs, this is for CAS 3 and CAS 3 Plus. So I think this is anywhere of your E60s, your E90s, I believe maybe your E65s. I'm not too sure on what CASs belong in each car. I just know for my car, I have a CAS 4 Plus. You can look it up online. I've already removed it from the car. But what's awesome about this is that there's these pins that lay right on it, so there's no soldering. Some tools require soldering. This tool does not. In this case, we're not using a CAS 3, we have a CAS 4. So this board right here, just a little bigger, it says CAS 4 Plus, and it's the V3. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the CAS out of its shell. It's exposed like that. Now, essentially, this little board is going to sit on it and read it. So there's different pins. Now, according to the app, it will tell you where the pins are. It literally only goes one way. It's gonna kind of feel natural. The first time, maybe not so, because there is this coating on the board, and these pins are sharp enough to pierce the coating. Well, the tool does come with these little like grinders to put it on. I think that's too risky. These probes are very, very sharp, and I'd have any issue doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit it down on this board. The app is very clear about where it is. So there's these 6 pins right here that go to these 6 metal probes right there, and then some of the other ones are very, very tiny. And basically put a standoff there to hold it, and then on this side, it's kind of clever because there is no spot to put it. There's this little lock that slides in that sandwiches between here and the board to hold it in. So I'm going to put this together and then come back. I will put a screenshot up in the video so you guys can see what it looks like. Again, it's different for every board. This is just a CAS 4, but this video obviously will apply to other cars if you're doing a CAS 3, CAS 1, CAS 2, or if you're doing an FEM module, which you'd be using a different board. You would not be using the same board. And the app is very helpful to tell you what board goes with where and stuff like that. So, okay, so the board is now attached to the CAS module. As you can see right there, we have the standoff, the little lock, and it's sitting on all the pins. Now, you may say, oh, well, what if I'm missing a pin? It's very tiny. Before this app does anything, once it's connected, it checks to make sure it can make a connection to all these pins. I'm assuming it just checks for power or something like that. I don't know exactly what it's checking for, but it's basically making sure you have a good, secure connection to program. So now you have this ribbon cable that plugs into the bigger slot on it, and then you run to this little board right here. We connect it, plug it into power, and just like that, we are set up. So we are now going to connect in the app, and I will start the screen sharing process. So we're connected. First time set up, it goes through in the app how to do that, so I'm not going to go over that. So let's start a screen recording. Screen recorded started. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the car. This does support other cars, but we're going to show it on a BMW because this is a CAS module. And then right in here is all the different things this application offers. It offers, like I said, FEM/BDC, which is essentially for the 3 Series, F30, 4 Series, and some other cars. Most of the newer ones are using FEM and BDC. It also supports DME ISN number, and that number needs to link with the CAS to allow the car to start. So it's another way of making keys. You may need to know that if all keys are lost. So if you don't have any keys, this application can make up a key. We have the CAS 1 to 4. We can also repair FRM modules. We can refresh genuine keys like this. If you'd like to use a genuine key, you can refresh it. You'd have to open this up and attach a board to it. We can do transmission reset and ECU cloning, which is super cool. This also allows to do CAS cloning, FEM cloning, FRM cloning. And like I said, I just bought the CAS module for now, so that's all I'm limited to, but I will plan on buying the other modules. So we're going to click CAS 4. We're then going to pick the CAS we have. In this case, we have CAS 4 and CAS 4 Plus. It's then going to ask us what mode. This mode's called ICP or bench mode. We're then going to pick the mask number. Now the mask number is located right here on this big chip right here. And again, if you click help on the app, click help, it's going to load. And it's going to show us how to identify what mask we have. I already know what mask I have. I have a 1N35H, so we're going to press on that. In this case, we're trying to make keys, and that's under IMMO, which is immobilizer. You can also reset the mileage on here. You can read/write CAS data, which is essentially copying the information on here and putting it on different ones. So if you're cloning modules, that's what you would go under. And you'd have to copy the P flash, which is the program or firmware. We'd also have to copy the D flash or EEPROM, which is the data for the keys and your ISN number and stuff like that. But we're gonna press IMMO. This is gonna load, it's gonna say loading resources. And then first thing we need to do, it's very important, we should read CAS 4 EEPROM. And that's gonna check the pins and also read the EEPROM or D flash, which is the information for the current key that's on it. So it says connect the BDM connector and connect the CAS 4 module. So that's the BDM adapter. Or this is the BDM adapter, I believe, and everything's connected to read. So it's going to say detecting pins. It's going to light up, as you can see. And we have just made sure all of the probe connections are good, so we can see all the pins are good. If one of these were red and it couldn't make a connection, take this off, reseat it, make sure you look at the diagram to figure out where they need to sit depending on your module, and you should be good to go. Like I said, I did not need to use the cleaning tools. I was able to just sit this on it and it was able to pierce them well enough to make a good connection. The other thing is you can put the coating back down because there's like this silicone or waxy, I don't even know what it is, some sort of material on it. I will have it linked down below so you can buy more and reapply it if you'd like. It's basically for moisture and stuff like that, so it doesn't corrode the board or short it out. Press OK. And now it's going to read the EEPROM, so it says reading chip data, please wait. and it's going to save this in a file. So it read it, we can see the VIN, we can see the current version. It is a CAS 4 Plus, and then it's gonna upload the file. We basically see where it's backed up, and it's called DFlash. So like I said, DFlash is what we're reading. And then now we're gonna press add key with a working key. If you didn't have any working keys and you wanted to make a key without it, you would go under method or mode 2, all keys lost. CAS 4, it says no need ISN number, and CAS 4 Plus need ISN. So that's what I was saying, you need that DME ISN number if you would like to add a new key with all keys lost, because they need to read each other. You need to have an ISN number to sync up. The other thing is write add EEPROM. That is what we may have to do at the end if it doesn't work. Some CAS 4s you do not need to write back EEPROM. It will basically tell you if you need to or not. So we're gonna press add key with working key. And then it's gonna say, please connect the BAV connector and put in the blank key. So what we're going to do is we are going to unplug this, set this aside for now. We are going to take the BAV connector, sit in your blank key and press OK. So it read it, now we're gonna press OK. And then we're gonna pick that bin file that we just grabbed today. So that was the DFlash file that we read when we read the CAS. So we're gonna click on this DFlash, because that was from today's date. It's gonna upload it, and then it's gonna say the current version, it has my VIN, so we're gonna press OK. And then we're gonna pick the slot. So now we're gonna pick the slot that we wanna change. Obviously screen recording's up, but we cannot pick ID 1 and 2, those ones are already enabled. And what I don't like to do is I don't like to pick ID 3 or 4. In this case, we want to pick something like 7 or 8 or 9, just because if the dealer ever goes in, it's going to overwrite and cause weird issues. So we're actually going to pick 8. I'm going to press OK. Now it says take the blank key out from the coil and put in the starting key. So we remove this key, put in this key. Now it's going to read the key's ISN number. It's going to say please wait. So we get this little prompt right here. Now it says please take out the starting key and put back in the blank key, so that's what we're gonna do. And then it says take out the starting key and put in the blank key. We just did that. We're gonna press OK. Generating dealer key. Key program successfully. So now it says get in the vehicle, put the key on the emergency starting coil near the steering column, press the start button to initialize key. Okay, so it looks like we're done. We can press OK. Uploading the file. Okay, looks like we are done. So now let's go put it back in the car and see what happens. All right guys, so we're actually back inside. Unfortunately, I put this key up to the starter coil to try to start it and it would not start. So I don't know if you remember at the end, we got this prompt that said, please get in the vehicle, put the key on the emergency induction coil, press the start button to synchronize the key. If the induction coil is damaged or the key cannot be learned, in this case, the key cannot be learned, it says add data. So that is actually what we have to do. I already did it, but I will show you exactly what I did. So if we go back under ACDP, so we made a connection, or we made a file called add, and it was the DPROM. So we have two different files. We have what's called the EEPROM or DFlash, which is the data on here for all your key information, ISN number, VIN, stuff like that. Then we have what's called the PFlash, which is the program flash or the firmware. We're only messing with the DFlash or EEPROM. So we'll go back under CAS, we'll go ICP, we'll click on the one that we have based off the mask number. The mask number was located on here. And then we clicked MMO. And then we went under, so we already read the EEPROM, but we went under write add EEPROM. And this is that add file that we're adding back to allow it to work. We have it connected, so we're gonna press OK. Well, so we have all the connections, but I'll mention this right now. So pin 4 actually on my CAS doesn't exist. It's just not there. On my other CAS it is. This CAS, it's just not there. So I tried it without. It made a good connection. I was able to make a key. So if you guys do not have pin 4 on your CAS 4, it reads right here. It says pin, all pins are good. So right here we have our add file at the top. Now that's what I clicked. I clicked add. I'm not going to do that only because I've already done that. I don't want to add it back, but that is what I clicked and it allowed the car to start. I will show you guys in a minute that it did start, but what we did once we got in the car, we still had to hold this up to the coil to get it to read, and then after you leave it there, start the car, pull it back. Then after a couple minutes, you can shut the car back off and start it using the comfort access system. So I just clicked add at the top. We don't need to do that. We don't need to write back the file. It's a 32 kilobyte D-flash file. So we're just gonna exit out of this and let's go take a look in the car. All right, so we are back in my car after we wrote the data. Like I mentioned, some CAS modules you do not need to write the data back. Unfortunately, mine, I had to write the data back under add EEPROM, and I showed you guys that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the new key right here. My other key is not in my car. I promise you I made sure it was 6 feet away. And on the first startup, we are still going to have to hold it to the steering column like this. So we're holding it up to the steering column. We're gonna put our foot on the brake. And look at that, car started. Awesome. So now it should have synced all the information up, so we should be able to lock and unlock, like you guys should have just heard that happened. Now let's shut the car off. And let's do it one more time, making sure it's not up against here, making sure comfort access essentially works. So we're gonna put our foot on the brake. And just like that, the car started. So super happy that I was able to clone a key using ACDP. Like I mentioned, I have a CAS 4 in my BMW F10, but this application will work for any CAS modules, CAS 1 to 4 plus. This car has a 4 plus. It will also be able to do any of the FEM in BDC cars, as well as clone all these modules, including the DME. All right, everyone, that is going to conclude today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is stuff that's not readily available on YouTube. No one's teaching you how to do this. I'm here to teach you guys how to do this. I want to bring you guys more content of cloning ECUs and other stuff that you can't get done at the dealer or shops. Like I said, there is another person on YouTube in the UK showing how to do this, but he blurs things out. He doesn't show everything. I'm here to show you guys everything that I know. Keep no secrets. I will have everything linked down below for the module that I bought. I have the CAS, like I mentioned, and the just regular programmer tool that is needed. If you guys have any questions at all, I will do my best to try and help you out. I've so far only have done a CAS module, so I can't really speak on BDC or FEM, but I will try my best to help you guys out. If you guys have any other comments or concerns with this product, let me know. I'd love to hear. If you guys want me to do a key for you, let me know and I will happily do that. I just need your CAS module or your BDC module, because I will be buying that one, and a working key, and I can make one for you if you guys do not feel comfortable doing this yourself or buying the product. But if you guys do want to buy the product, linked down below. This was a very budget-friendly one, which is why I bought it. And that is all I have for today's video. Give this video a huge thumbs up. Consider subscribing. And guys, I finally have now 2 keys. I did have 2 keys, but I had to give one up for something, for my remote start system. So now I have 2 keys, and I will be making a display key up for this car, which would be really cool. Either that or a G-Series key I will be making up for this car. So stay tuned and consider subscribing, guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll catch you in the next one.